Hello and welcome to my channel. I am going to do Excel chapter 7 mid level 1 admissions. I will solve this assignment step by step in this video, and you can get your assignment done by watching this video. If you want me to do your assignment, if you want me to do your complete course including Excel assignment, Word assignment, PowerPoint assignments and Assess assignment, just contact me on WhatsApp or email that is mentioned in the description of this video. You can see my WhatsApp and email address showing at the bottom of the screen as well. You can hire me for your other courses like accounting, management, finance, information technology, all programming assignments, computer science and writing assignment as well. So let's start this assignment and solve this assignment step by step. So we will go to our instruction file. Title of the assignment is Exp19 Excel chapter 7 mid level 1 admissions. First step of the assignment is to download the Excel sheet. This is the Excel sheet where we are supposed to apply all these steps, and we will get this assignment done by solving these steps in the Excel sheet. So I have already downloaded the Excel sheet. This is the Excel sheet where we are supposed to apply all these steps, and we will get this assignment done by applying these steps in this document. So we will move to step number 2 because step number 1 is just about downloading the files. So in step number 2 it is saying that in cell D11 insert the days function using the initial deadline that is stored in cell B8 and the date received that is stored in cell C11. Used mixed and relative references correctly. So basically we are supposed to use the days function in cell D11 to get the number of days. For this we will use B8 as the initial deadline and C11 as the date received. So let's go to the sheet and go to cell D11 and insert this days function now. So this is D11 and we are supposed to insert the days function here. So type equal sign and type days. So days function will appear here. Double click on it. And now we will click on the insert function symbol, this one. So we are supposed to use the deadline will be deadline will be B8 that is given here. So we will go to the B8. C11. So we will use this as a relative and mixed references. So we got the number of days by using the function. So that is all about step number 2, where we were supposed to use the days function B8 as the deadline, this one, and C11 as the date received. So we got this one, and now we will move to next step, that is step number 3. So in step number 3 it is saying that copy the days function from cell D11 to the range D12 up to D67. A negative value indicates that application was received after the initial deadline. So now we are supposed to copy the function from D11 down to the column D up to D67, and if we are getting a negative value, it means that application was received after the initial deadline. So let's go to the sheet and we will use the autofill handler to get the other days. So this is a negative value. It is showing that application was received after the initial deadline. So this is all about step number 3. So we used a days function and now we copied the days function down to the column D. So we are done with step number 3 as well. Now let's move to step number 4. In step number 4 it is saying that in cell G11 insert the if function with the nested AND function to display either yes or no in the admit early column. So admit early column is column G. This is admit early column and we are supposed to use a if function nested with AND function. The university admit a student early if the student meets both the early admission criteria. So there are two criteria for the early admission, and those two criteria are based on the SAT, that is B3, and the GPA B4. That is, student SAT score must be 1400 or higher. That is first one. Student SAT score must be 1400 or higher, and the GPA must be 3.8 or higher. Use relative and mixed references to the cells in the admission criteria range. Based on the requirement, the first student, this is the student ID will be admitted early. So basically, we are supposed to use a if function, and we will nest this with the AND function to display yes or no. To display yes, there are two conditions. First one is SAT score should be greater than or should be equal to or greater than 1400, and GPA must be either 3.80 or it should be higher than this one. So if both conditions are meeting, then it will show yes, otherwise it will show no. So let's go to cell G11 and use this if function. So we are supposed to use an if function. We will type equal sign and we will type if. So then we will click on the insert function symbol. Now we are supposed to nest if function with AND function. So we will type and now we will write the two conditions. So first one is SAT score must be 1400 or greater. So SAT score must be, this is the SAT score, this one, it should be greater than or equal to, because it is given then SAT score must be either 1400 or greater than 1400. So 1400, so this is 1400 is here. So we will make it mixed and relative. This is first condition, and second condition is GPA should be either 3.80 or it should be greater than. So GPA is mentioned in F11. So F11 should be greater than or equal to 3.80. So these are two conditions to show. These are the two conditions to show yes. If these two conditions are meeting value, if yes, then it will show yes. It is mentioned it will show yes, otherwise it will show no. So we will type yes here because these two conditions are meeting. If these two conditions are not meeting, it will show no. So let me repeat it again and explain this. We are supposed to use if function nested with AND function in cell G11. That is the admit early column, and we have two conditions. First one is SAT score, that is E11, is greater than or equal to 1400. That is given in B3, this one. And other condition is GP, that is given in F11, should be greater than or equal to 3.80. That is given in B4. If these two conditions are meeting, it will show yes, otherwise it will show no. So let's click on OK and we will get yes. So for this one, we are getting yes. And after this, use the relative. Okay, we are done with step number 4. That is all about using if function. Now we will move to next step, that is step number 5. So in step number 5, it is saying that in cell H11, enter the if function with the nested OR function. In step number 4, we used the if function nested with AND function, but now we are supposed to use the if function nested with OR function to display either yes or no in reject early column. The university reject a student early if the student has either a SAT score less than 800, cell C3, or GPA below this, cell C4. Otherwise, it will show no. So basically, we are supposed to use a if function and we will nest it with OR function. And for OR function, we are given two conditions. First condition is SAT score is less than 800, and the other condition is GPA is below than 1.80. So let's do this step. We will go to cell H11 now. This one, and we are supposed to use a if function again. We will type an equal sign and type if. So we will click on insert symbol function. Now we are supposed to use if function nested with or function. So we will type or here, and now we will type two conditions. First condition is if set score that is given in E11 must be less than 800, that is C3. That is our condition number 1. Now we will type the second condition. Second condition is if the GPA is less than 1.80. So GPA is given in F11 and F11 must be less than 1.80 given in cell C4, and we will make it mixed and relative cell. So for this we will type $sign here. So these are two conditions to show what? To show yes, otherwise it will show no. So if these two conditions are showing, it will be a reject early, so it will show yes. If these two conditions are not meeting, it will not be reject early and it will show no. So we are using if function nested with or function, and two conditions are if set score is less than 800 given in cell C3, and other condition is if GPA that is given in cell F11 is less than 1.80 that is given in cell C4. If these two conditions are meeting, it will be a reject early. If these two conditions are not meeting, it will be a no. So it is showing no now. That is all about step number 5, and we have completed 5 steps for this assignment. Now we will move to next step, that is step number 6. So step number 6 is in cell I11 enter a formula to calculate an applicant admission score, multiply the GPA that is F11 by the multiplier that is cell B7, and then add the result to set score cell E11. The first score is 3925. Used relative and mixed references approximately. So now we are supposed to calculate applicant score, and for this we will add F11 and we will multiply this by B7, and then we will add the result to E11. Let's do this step. Go to the cell I11 in the Excel sheet. So we will type equal sign here, and now we are supposed to multiply F11 by B7. So multiply F11, that is a GPA, and multiply this by B7 that is given here, that is a multiplier, this one. So make it relative and absolute, mixed and relative reference. Now we are supposed to add this multiplication result with the set score that is E11. So we will add the set score in here. So first value we got 3925, that is given here. You can see that we got this value, and our step number 6 is completed where we calculated the applicant admission score. So we got the admission score for the student ID, this one, that is 3925, and for this we multiplied F11 GPA with the multiplier 600, and then we added this result to the set score, and for this we got the score of the applicant. So that is all about step number 6, and now we will move to next step, that is step number 7. So in step number 7, it is saying that in cell J11 enter the if function. If admit early is yes, display the text early admission. If the reject early is yes, display the text early rejection. If the score is greater than the threshold score in cell B6, display admit. If the score is less than or equal to threshold score in cell B6, display reject. So basically we are supposed to use if function, and if function is used when we have logic tests more than 2. So instead in this tab we have 4 logic tests. First one is if admit early is yes, it will display early admission. This is the first logic test with the result early admission. Then the second logic test is if the reject early is yes, it will show early rejection. This is the second logic test. And the third one is if the score is greater than the threshold B6, it will show admit. And if the threshold score is less than B6, it will show reject. So we will type these 4 logic tests and then we will make these 4 options shown there. So let's go to cell J11 and use if function there now. So this is J11 and we are supposed to use the if function here. So we will type equal sign, then type ifs, and we will get this function. And now we will click on the insert function symbol. And now we are supposed to type the 4 logic tests and their respective values. So first value is if admit early is yes. So admit early is yes. Admit early is given in cell H11. So we will type if H11 is equal to yes. This is our first logic test, and then it will show early admission. So this is first logic test and the result. So if H11, that is the, sorry, we are supposed to type admit early because it is given admit early. If admit early is yes, so we will make it G11. So if G11, that is admit early is yes, then it will show early admission. So that is our first logic test and the result. So our next logic test is if the reject early is yes, display the result early rejection. So if H11, that is reject early, is equal to yes, this is our second logic test, then it will show early rejection. So we will type early rejection. So this was our second test, that if the reject early is yes, then it will show early rejection. So our third test is if the score is greater than the threshold score in cell B6, it will show admit. So score is given in I11. So we will type if I11, this one is greater than threshold score that is given in B6. If it is greater than threshold score, it will show admit. So this is third logic test. Otherwise, it will show reject. So we will type reject in next column and next cell. So last test will be if the score, that is I11, is less than or equal to threshold score, that is B6, then it will show reject. So we have entered 4 logic tests and their result. So first logic test was G11 is equal to yes. G11 was admit early. If admit early is equal to yes, then it will show early admission. Logic test 2 was if reject early is equal to yes, it will show early rejection. The third test is if the score that is given in I11 is greater than threshold score given in B6, then it will show admit. This was the third logic test. And our last logic test is if score is less than or equal to threshold score B6, then it will show reject. So we have entered all the logic tests, then we will click OK. So we got the result for this one. That is step number 7. So we have completed 7 steps, and now we will move to next step, that is step number 8. Now it is saying that copy the formula down to the admit early, reject early, score and final decision column. Now we are supposed to copy the formula down to the column. So for this we will click autofill handle to get the other values. So we are done with this one. So I have solved 8 steps and I have shown you how you can do these steps. Now we will move to next step, that is step number 9. Step number 9 is in cell H3 insert the COUNTIF function to count the number of early admission in the range J11 up to J67. So now we are supposed to use a COUNTIF function in cell H3, and for this we will use the COUNTIF function that will count the number of early admission in the range this one. Used mixed references for the range argument and use cell E3 as the condition. Copy the function to cell H4. It should adjust automatically to count the number of admit in the range J6. So basically now we are supposed to use a COUNTIF function in cell H3, and for this we will use this range and we will use the mixed references for the range, and then we will use E3 as a condition. After that we will copy the function down to the column. So let's do this step. Now we will go to cell H3 and we will use COUNTIF function. So this is H3 and we are supposed to use the COUNTIF function here. So type equal sign and type COUNTIF. Now we are supposed to select the range, and range is given, that is J11 up to J67. And criteria, that is the condition E3. So we got early admission count from this range, that is 9. You can count as well 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got the early admission count, that is 9. So we got this result for the early admission. Now we will move to next step, that is step number 10. So step number 10 is in cell I3 enter the average if function to calculate the average set score. So now we are supposed to calculate the average set score in step number 10, and we will use the average if function in cell I3, and range is selected, that is E11 up to E67, where the final decision in the range J11 up to J67 are early admission. Use mixed references so that row number in the range do not change when copied down. Use a relative reference to cell E3 for the condition. So now we are supposed to use if average if function to get the average set score. For this we are supposed to use the average if function in cell I3. So let's go to cell I3 now. This is cell I3 and we are supposed to use average if function. So we will select the average if here. Now we will click on the insert function symbol. So now our range will be again this one, that is the early admission range from the final decision. This one, we will make it the relative and mixed references. Criteria will be E3 as given in the requirement. And now we are supposed to average range will be the set score range, that is E11 up to E67. So now we will select the average range. That is the set score. So let's select this range. So we have selected the average range and make it relative and mixed references. So we are using average if function to calculate the average set score for the early admission, and for this criteria is E3. Our range for early admission is the J11 up to J67 and average range is E11 up to E67. So we got the average set score for the early admission is this one. That is our step number 10. So total step in this assignment are 22. I have shown you 10 steps for this assignment. Now I am going to give you an overview for the remaining steps. So I solved complete 10 steps in this video. Now I will give you an overview for the remaining steps. But if you want me to do this assignment for you, you can contact me on WhatsApp or email showing at the bottom of this screen. Let's go to step 11 now. So step number 11 is in cell J3, insert the average if function to calculate the average GPA. So in step number 10, we calculated average set score. Now we are supposed to calculate the average GPA. For this, only the average range will be changed. That will be the GPA range. So let me show you. This is the GPA range, that is F11 up to F67. So only this range will be selected. And formula like step number 10 will be the same. So I calculated this and you can see that average GPA is 4 for this one. So we are done with this step and now we will move to next step, that is step number 11. Step number 10. In step number 12, in step number 12 it is saying that apply number format with 0 decimal places to cell I3. So we are supposed to apply the number format to the decimal places with 0 decimal places to cell I3, then copy the function in the range I3 up to J3 to the range I4 up to J4. So I have already done this one. You can see the result here. So that is step number 12. So step number 13 is in cell H5 insert the count a function to count the total number of application that meets the two conditions. Score in the range I11 up to I67 are greater than 3500 and the final decision in the range or early admission. So now we are going to count the number of application if the application are meeting these two conditions. Two conditions are if the score are greater than 3500 and decision are early admission. So let me show you result in H5. So this is our H5 and we got the number that is 9 for this one. So that is step number 13. Let me give you an overview for step number 14 as well. Step number 14 is in cell H6 insert the count a function, the count of a number of applications that meet two conditions, residence in the range or in state and the final decision in the range or early admission. So now we are going to count the number of days if those applications are meeting the two conditions. First one is if the residence is in state and the final decision are early admission. Let me show you result for this one. So in state early admission are 4. We got this result after using the formula COUNTIF. So that is step number 14. Now let me show you step number 15. In cell H7 insert the maximum if function to identify the highest score in the range. And the condition are if the residence is in-state and the final decision are early admission. So let me show you result in H7. So H7 is highest in-state score early admission are 4,000. So that is step number 15. So step number 16 is in cell H8 insert the average if function to calculate the average score. Now we are supposed to calculate the average score, and two conditions are if the residence in the range are ADM steric, use the A steric as wild card so that include both early admission. So let me show you result in H8. Average in state score all admission, this is 3588. So we got this after using the average function. So step number 17 is in cell I5 insert the average function to calculate the average set score that meets the condition. Condition are if the score are greater than 3500 and the final decision are early admission. Let me show you the result in I5. So this is I5 and the result is 1561. Then in I6 we are supposed to insert the average function again, and for this conditions are residence is in-state and the final decision condition is early admission. So let me show you result for this one, that is this one. So we got this one by using the average function. Then in step number 19 we are supposed to copy the function down to the column. So we are done with 19 steps, and step number 20 is just about creating the map that I have created already. Let me show you the map here. So we will create this map and then we will change the title of the map. So I have shown you complete assignment in this video, but if you want me to do this assignment for you, just contact me on WhatsApp or email that is showing at the bottom of the screen. So this is the complete version of the assignment. You can see each and every calculation in this final solution. Thank you so much for watching my video. I will get back to you with another video.